just noticed for the first time, you know what Carnahan does? You watch? He goes like this. Never even puts his hand up there. God, cheaters. No, not mine. I got mine.
Well, okay, we're back in the indulge 4 days. We're back in the what do they call this? It's a hotel room.
The hotel room.
Yep. SHOT Show was great. We just got back a few minutes ago after 4 days of SHOT Show. Now, admittedly, we cheated. SHOT Show goes on for 4 days, and in the past, we've actually worked the show all 4 days. We didn't do it this time.
Nope.
We did the first day.
We did.
We were exhausted after driving all the way out, and then the day at SHOT Show. Second day, we took a day off, and we just kind of hung around. We went out to Bass Pro Shop. Here's a little clip from that. I don't know. I got to get a pair of chaps because where I'm going to be hunting, there's cactus and sticky stuff. And my son can tell you, and this is a fact, we've hunted a lot, that if there's one cactus within 800 yards of where we are,
we'll get it.
Either he will or I will. We'll walk right into the stupid thing. And I hate them. And, we don't swear. But
it is tempting.
And, we bought things. We're probably going to go buy Bass Pro again this evening, maybe. Probably before we take off. And then yesterday we actually did work the show. We've had some great experiences. And then today we went back and worked the show a little bit. Actually, more than we thought we were going to today.
Yeah.
We thought we had one appointment. We ended up with 2 or 3.
Yep.
But just, some impressions about the show we'll give you real quick. But before I do that, I probably should just explain that we now look at the show a little differently than we used to. Because when Nick and I started the YouTube channel, we did it really just for fun. We didn't expect it to become anything.
Yep.
And what I've learned is over time, when you're doing something like this, it takes you some time to figure out just exactly what you're all about and what your channel's going to be. It doesn't happen overnight. So if you're a YouTuber, you know what I'm talking about. If you produce anything like this, over time you begin to figure it out. And we've kind of figured out where we're at. We're not. There's some things we're not. There's some things we are. We're really more of a Second Amendment advocacy channel than we are anything else.
Yes.
We review some products and we go do some shooting and we do that. But we also do a lot of interviews. We have people come on the show like Sam Paredes from Gun Owners of California and Rick Travis from CRPA and Dan O'Kelly, who's a retired ATF agent from gunlearn.com. He talks about the ATF and different guests like that because we're trying to keep you informed, and then we try to help you figure out the laws in goofy states like California. We do a lot of that stuff.
Right.
So when we looked at the show this year for SHOT Show, we really spent SHOT Show differently than a lot of YouTubers do. Which is not right or wrong or good or bad. I mean, it's just, we just wanted to focus on building relationships rather than covering the latest and greatest stuff at the show. Because, I mean, how many places can you get that?
You can get that anywhere.
Right.
Just go on Google and type in SHOT Show 2019. You'll have all the info you ever wanted.
And there's a bazillion YouTubers who do that and magazines that do that and like that.
They do a great job at it, too.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. The issue was we didn't feel like we were going to be additive if we stopped and covered the same new stuff that everybody else is covering and just, it gets boring after a while. You're seeing the same stuff over and over again. We understand that.
Right.
So instead, we spent time sitting down with, as the people I mentioned, we sat down with Rick Travis from CRPA, and we interviewed him for the GunGuyTV podcast, which is syndicated on all the podcast places, so you can check out the link in the description if you like. We sat down with Sam Paredes, and then we bumped into Sam over at Perazi, which was fun.
Yes,
took some pictures
that
with
was
him.
cool.
We love Sam; he's a great guy. So we sat down with Sam Paredes from Gun Owners of California, interviewed him. Actually, we stood
that guy
up and interviewed him because we were over at the Remington booth. It was pretty
We were.
loud.
Yes.
But it was pretty cool. Bumped into Cal Leibowitz from Optics Planet. Spent some time with him again for the podcast.
Had a great breakfast with him as well.
And then we met Frank Johnson from Liberty First Foundation. They're starting up from New York.
You were actually interviewed.
I was actually interviewed, which is like that never happens.
No, you're usually the guy asking the questions, but now you had all the rights to talk. It was all you.
Like, hey, dude, you're interviewing me. I get to talk now.
Yeah.
And I'm half Italian, so
Yeah, and Matt, Frank's is a New Yorker, so imagine this guy and a New Yorker talking. I mean, it's
and I out-talked him too. I think
you did.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to win.
Yeah,
hey, I'm talking here.
Yeah, that was great.
It was kind of funny actually.
Yeah.
But that was great to spend some time with them and figure out what they're doing. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to talk to Alan Gottlieb at Second Amendment Foundation. I saw him, but we were in the middle of an interview with someone else, and it was one of those. But we visited CMMG, Nikon, Double Star, Franklin
They got some
Armory.
cool stuff coming out too.
Yeah, they have some great stuff coming up, and we may, extending and building those relationships with those manufacturers who want to now send us stuff to review. They're going to be sending it out to Yuma to Sprague Sports. Yep. Tried to get together with poor Richard Sprague from Sprague Sports, but he twisted his knee so bad he had to cut it short and bail because he was hurting so bad he couldn't stay any longer. And so we spent our time focusing on those relationships rather than focusing on what's the latest, greatest thing, because we knew you could see that everywhere else. So,
right.
We'll show you some pictures of stuff that we did, and you can kind of see the kind of guns that we looked at and the different places that we went like that.
Took a lot of those pictures.
We took a lot of pictures at a lot of booths, and so we'll get those out to you in various forms, and we'll make sure they're running in this video too while we're talking about it. But there were some key things we ran into we thought were really, really cool. For example, at Double Star. Double
Star had this really cool I'm going to call it a battle axe. It's not really a battle axe, but it's
a battle axe.
It's an axe.
Actually.
And the video, Nick really showed us a really cool video on YouTube, actually, of their products. And it's them chopping up a car. Literally. With this axe.
Talking about making it convertible the hard way.
And they're just chopping away, and they chop off the glass. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then they chopped off actually the roof of I don't want to spoil the whole thing. Go look it up. It's
we'll
great.
We'll put a link to the video in the description.
It's great
a great video.
But I mean, and it just looked cool.
It is.
It looked really cool. I also, Franklin Armory's has got some cool stuff too. I saw.
They do have some very cool stuff. They have sent me a Reformation rifle to review.
Yeah.
And we just did a review on the binary trigger and on the CA7 pistol for California. And I talked to Sun and I talked to Jay, and they're going to send me, Jay's the owner, and they're going to send me some more stuff as well, which is kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Nick at Double Star has indicated he'll probably be sending some stuff as well.
Not me.
CMMG, yeah. Well, yeah, but he's a big guy too. He's just not as tall as you. He's one of these guys.
Yeah.
And Nick's a great guy, by the way. I love him.
He's great.
And then Nikon's going to be sending some stuff to us. CMMG is going to be sending some stuff to us. I don't know. There's a bunch of them.
There was that other. So while we're waiting for, I'm not going to put him on blast, but we were waiting one of the guys at CMMG. See, I'm tired. Yeah. We're waiting for them, and then we walked up, and there was this cool backpack. I just want to shout out.
And they gave me the thing, and I'm sorry, I forgot. I lost the company thing.
Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, wait. Hold up. I got it. Right? Nope, that's something else. That's not it. I don't know. It's around here somewhere.
It's called White Horse.
Oh, yeah, cool. There you go.
And those guys, they make a backpack. They make a whole bunch of stuff, mainly for law enforcement, everything that comes from, body armor and big doors that can, take tank
rounds or whatever. Right.
But the coolest thing was this little cool backpack that actually had a Kevlar shield on the back of it, so that if the worst happens, you can protect yourself, and it was meant for the kids. It's just cool.
Well,
place.
That one will stop. They set up to a 44 Magnum, and then they're working on one that will stop. It will stop a rifle round, but it's heavier, so they're working on a plate for that. So that was very cool. I talked with them, and they indicated they might send me one to take out on the range and shoot at, so that we could demonstrate its effectiveness, which I thought would be pretty good.
Yeah.
In today's world with the people doing nice, stupid
crazy
stuff, I mean, it's nice to have something that's not obviously armor, but can be used for that.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately.
And it's California compliant.
Pretty cool.
Which I don't know why.
Yeah, well, I don't know why.
What's that
got to do with anything?
Well, honestly, sometimes, I don't know, man. It makes you wonder.
Well, we were joking around with Nick at Double Star. We said, look, if we took pictures of only the California compliant stuff, we'd have taken 2 pictures the first day and gone home. There just really isn't a whole heck of a lot.
No, there isn't.
But there's some great news on the horizon. Again, we got news from, or at least we hope so, from both Rick Travis and Sam Paredes, on the GunGuyTV audio podcast, which you can check out on iTunes and Spotify and like that. And those will be available to you here pretty soon. They come out on the 5th and the 20th. So check those out and subscribe to that, because both of those interviews are going to be there in their entirety, and you really need that information. There's no reason for us to repeat it here. They're also going to come on the show on GunGuyTV on YouTube and Vimeo and all the places we post the videos over the next couple of weeks to kind of go over those kinds of things. And then Frank from Liberty First Foundation is also coming on the show to talk about what they're doing in New York and what their plans are. That's going to be very exciting as well.
And if you want to check out that interview, they're on Facebook, and they got a really popular little page.
Facebook following.
So I mean, they probably will post that interview, and Frank's awesome, and the Liberty First is a great organization. I'd definitely check them out if you have the chance.
Very new, but seems to be taking off pretty fast. So if we can get a link
to that,
they're
very active too.
If we can get a link, and we'll get a link to their website. If we get a link to that interview that we did with them, where they interviewed me for some reason.
We're just going to shower you with links.
We'll put a link in that. You can have more links. You know what to do with. So in general, it was a good show. I think we really had a great experience. Good. Now, I will tell you, if you're in town and you want to spend the money on it.
The money?
Man, I have a friend who came out here, and I don't know if he would want me to give him credit for this or not, but I'm going to do it anyways. Pete. My buddy Pete, who he comes on the show, he has interesting guns. We did the cannon thing and everything else. He was very kind and very gracious. He came out here to spend some time with us. So he decides he wants to take us to his favorite steak place, which is called Jean Georges. Jean Georges. It's like Jean George's.
And like a fool, I didn't look up what the place was like.
No.
I thought it was going to be like the Outback.
Yeah, no,
sorry,
not even
Pete,
close.
I thought it was going to be like the Outback. I know you're probably going to be like, what? I don't know. I thought it was going to be like Black Angus or something.
I'm going to tell you right now, that was the best steak and best crab legs and best meal I have ever had in my life.
It was a huge privilege.
It was a huge privilege. First of all, it was great to see Pete. It was great to spend some time with him.
Absolutely.
We had some friends with us that we travel with all the time who were also there. John and Giovanni were there too, and we had a great time. It was awesome. But talk about the service was top drawer. The food was incredible. And I don't know what the cost was, and I'm almost afraid to ask, but it was very kind of him to buy Nick and I dinner there.
Yes.
I'm very grateful to Pete. So Pete, if you're watching, thank you very, very much for that. We were just overwhelmed by your generosity in that regard. Not a place that these two blue-collar guys would probably ever go.
Or get allowed. No, sorry.
But now I'm ruined.
To get allowed to go. We wouldn't be invited
right.
to go.
Now, the funny thing is he's so much bigger than I am, right? So I walk in, and I've got the ball cap on, and I'm the old guy. So the guy says to me, sir, I'm sorry you can't wear the ball cap. And I say, okay, so take my cap off. Mr. 6'6", 300 pounds walks in, and they go, no. They let him walk in, ball cap and all. He was kind enough when he found out to take it off, but nobody asked him about it, which was hilarious. But great restaurant, boy. If you want to,
right.
It's pricey, but I got to tell you, it's worth every dime. It is amazing. Jean Georges in the the Ari or
Ari,
or however you say it, the AR. I think it's ARI.
Just look up Jean Georges in Las Vegas. It shows up, and it shows you all the 5 stars it's got and all the rewards, and it's just like, whoa.
Great place, great service, awesome.
Then he also showed us those pistols at Cabot.
We went and visited Cabot. Oh yeah. Okay, so he and I shot we took Cabot to the range, which he has, which is an amazing handgun, and then we went down and visited the owners of Cabot and the designers of Cabot. They actually have a new 1911 they're doing where they're actually completely. Well, I wouldn't say completely redesigning it, but it's almost. They've changed the extractor so that the extractor is no longer vulnerable to breakage or being a problem. They've changed some other things. I mean, they've done some great work. It's a prototype. Well, then you got to tell them how you felt when you picked it up.
Well, you know how a pistol feels like when you pick it up, but that thing felt like as if you picked up like a pen in your hand, and it felt perfect, and it's like it felt like like an old friend, and it was just super light and familiar, and it's just the quality. You could feel the quality of the gun, but it was just as light as any old plastic plastic gun you get at CVS if you at the toy store. But its quality was so...
Some kind of uber... I don't know what it's made out of.
Yeah.
Some kind of uber, space age alloy or whatever.
And Rob, Rob and the other guy with the cool beard. Those guys were so happy to watch us take them to grab it because they're just all giggles. They're laughing.
Ooh,
right. It was great,
right. And I said, you got to pick this up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like this. Are you kidding me? Saying. Very, very cool company, Cabot. I'll put and again, we're beating you up with links here, but I'll put a link in the description for Cabot. You got to check them out. I mean, again, these are top of the line, top drawer. You buy it, and it's already perfect type firearms. This is like going over to Caesar Guerini and buying, or Holland and Holland, and buying it and saying, "I'd like my gun to be like this."
Yep.
And they build it for you or whatever. I mean, it's really something. Those Cabots are amazing. I'm hopeful that they might send me one to review. Now, I don't get to keep it.
Well, I can hope for that too.
But just the privilege of having it to review would be very, very cool because it would be a privilege. It is a phenomenal firearm. So if you like 1911s, check them out. You'll sit down before you do, because you look at the price tag and faint. But I got to tell you, if you got the money, they're worth the money every time. So that was really kind of cool. I'm trying to think of what else did we see that was really awesome that we really liked.
Man,
I mean, we went by Perazzi, which is always a joy.
Always joy to go to Perazzi.
We looked at some of the. We love beautiful shotguns. We looked at some of them. Mossberg has some really interesting things. The new Mossberg pistol.
I saw that.
Really cool to look at. We forget that Mossberg is not simply a long gun company, and they're back to making pistols apparently again, and it looks really awesome. It really does. It looks like a great.
Well, we're going to also talk
choice.
about pistols. I really also like Taurus's new pistol that they have. It felt great. It's a little too small for my hand, but granted, my hands are very large.
Do they have a gun? We did find. We
do
went over
have.
to
They
Smith
have
and
the
Wesson, and we found the Model 29.
Yes.
He's like, okay, it's a dirty hairy gun. I'm down, right? That was
also, I mean, Taurus has the Raging Bull, which that thing is like a rifle in your hand.
Looked like a maybe an ankle gun for you.
That thing, right, sure.
Wasn't sure. So he loves revolvers, as do I. So we spent a lot of time doing that, and then we just kind of cruised the show and built some relationships. So my hope, I should say our hope really, is that we'll have some more encouraging and hopefully interesting guests on the show as a result of the way we approached SHOT Show this year. So in 2019, we should have some really encouraging and exciting guests for you. We have some manufacturers who want to come on the show whenever they have something new to talk about, and that they'll be able to tell you about those. And my hope in talking with a few manufacturers about that, in fact, they seem really excited about it, is that they might come on the show as part of a live stream, which would give you a chance then to post some questions for them so they can answer those questions live. And then what we'll do when those come up is we'll give you plenty of notice so that you can be part of the live stream if you want to do that. Yep. And we'll have some of those folks come on and talk about what they're doing and this new product that they're interested in presenting to you, and they'll answer questions about it. We'll show you a little piece of video maybe or some photos, and then hopefully, after that, they might send it to us, and we can actually get our hands on it and review it for you. So I thought that was kind of a neat little added thing that we're able to do, perhaps, again, by trying to build these relationships within the industry and getting these quality manufacturers to send us new stuff in 2019. So that's our hope with 2019 with GunGuyTV. So some of them have also been expressed a desire to come on the audio podcast. Yeah. And so those were going to be different. Obviously, the video is going to be a little different than the audio. It's kind of like TV and radio. So I encourage you, if you haven't already, get on there and subscribe to that audio podcast. It's brand new. It's actually not brand new. We've been doing it on Patreon for a long time, but the syndicated version is now brand new. Check that out. There is a link to that in the description, and there's links. I was going to say audio podcast, but there's links to all of the places where it's going to be syndicated. So if you're an iTunes person, you'll find it, or Spotify or whatever. You'll be able to find it there. We'll make sure we link it up for you.
All those links.
Whatever they may be.
More links that you need.
I can't list them all for you. Well, anyway, I don't know. I think that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm down to get a burger.
Okay, we're going to go over to Famous Dave's, and I think we're burger or catfish?
Man, they got that catfish.
They got the cab down for the catfish.
I'm going for the catfish,
yeah. Going for the catfish. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so very much for letting us share SHOT Show with you a little bit. We will post a bunch of photos on Patreon. We'll put some up on Facebook and probably Instagram as well, so you can see the different stuff we saw. And then this being on Patreon is really cool, but we will also take this video and the one we did the other day. We'll put those eventually on YouTube so that everybody can see them. We just want to give you as a patron of ours, we want to give you kind of a first take in the background of what we did. So
of course.
Thank you so much for all of your support. Have a wonderful week, and please
stay safe.